I'm Priscilla Barrera with the Investing News Network, and here with me today is Rick Van Nieuwenhuyse, CEO of Trilogy Metals. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rick.
Oh, pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
All right, so my first question for you today is, last year we saw a rebound in the resource sector as a whole, including copper and zinc. Do you expect more of the same this year?
Yeah, I think we're just seeing basically the supply-demand balances just switch over from being an oversupply to being an undersupply. Actually, last year, when everybody expected there to be an oversupply of copper, there was actually a deficit. So yeah, I think we're going to see more of the same for both copper and zinc specifically this year.
All right. And in terms of copper, we're seeing a market that is expecting a lot of demand from the electric car sector, and at the same time, supply and mine grades are declining. In that particular environment, why should investors look into Trilogy Metals?
Well, because we give investors a huge leverage to copper. We have 10 billion pounds of copper plus zinc, gold, and silver. We have high-grade copper, 5% in an open pit mining scenario. That'll be the highest grade open pit copper mine in the world. So you get kind of double leverage to the copper, in fact, to the fact that you have a lot of copper and that it's very low cost to produce it. So I don't think you'll find another story out there that'll compare, particularly when you take into consideration that it's in a safe jurisdiction. We're in Alaska, we're in the United States, so it's safe rule of law jurisdiction.
Right, and in terms of copper prices, you said you're bullish on copper as well. Do you have a particular price prediction? Are prices going to continue to go up?
I think they will over time. I think what's unique about our project is we don't need higher copper prices to make our project valuable to investors. At 5%, that's 10 times the average grade being mined in open pit mines around the world today. So that's, we don't need a higher copper price. We just need people interested in copper, which again has happened now that we're in a deficit supply of copper.
And aside from copper, you also have zinc. Are you bullish on zinc as well? Zinc prices will still continue to go up?
Yeah, we've seen zinc move nicely from 80 cents up to $1.50 range. Zinc was a bit ahead of copper in terms of that when that deficit was when a deficit arrived. I think we'll see zinc perform well. You've got good management, supply management in the zinc space, with Glencore having put a few mines on hold last 2-3 years ago. Those will come back on as the price goes up, but it demonstrated to the world that there is going to be supply management, not just everybody's going to throw a new zinc mine back online. And I think that's something, particularly for the copper space. There's not a lot of new projects out there in the wings, and so as the deficit continues, it's just going to take time, more and more time, to get new projects under construction and producing more metal.
Right, and last year, Trilogy's stock price increased over 100%. What were some of the factors that impacted your stock?
Well, we had a lot of news flow last year with a lot of drilling. We brought in a major company as a partner in South 32. So I think that brought attention to the story. And we're going to have a lot of news flow again this year. We spent $10 million drilling last year. We had some fantastic drill results, continue to expand our resource at our second project, which is called Bornite. And then meanwhile in Arctic, we're completing a pre-feasibility study. That'll be out next month. And again, we'll start drilling again on our Bornite project here with $10 million of South 32's money here in a few, probably in May, we'll start drilling. So yeah, it'll be a lot of news flow again, very similar to last year. And I think as we've talked about, the copper space will continue to be a focus for investor interest.
All right, and what were some of the challenges you faced last year?
People. For the last, previously for the last 5 years previous, a lot of people just kind of left the business as it's a cyclical business, and when things are out of favor, you tend to you lose people. They decide to go into the real estate business or something else. And so when you ramp back up, when the industry ramps back up, the hardest resource to get is the people, and people who know what they're doing. And fortunately, we've had a good group of people that we've worked with for a long time. But as an industry, I think that's certainly the biggest challenge going forward.
Right, and looking ahead, I know you already shared some of the milestones investors can expect from your company this year. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, no, I think we'll have a lot of news flow with the pre-feasibility study out probably late February, and then the drilling starting a few months later, and we're doing both infill and expansion drilling on our Bornite project, and we'll start to permit Arctic. So there'll be a lot of news flow, a lot of activity going on this year.
All right, and finally, what would be your suggestion or a piece of advice for an investor that is new to the base metal sector?
Grade is king. There's a lot of projects out there in the copper space that are 0.2, 0.3% copper. There's nothing wrong with those. I think eventually those will be mined. But in terms of making profits sooner and having a more solid investment, the adage in the business is grade is king. And so really look hard at the quality of the assets that you're investing in and the jurisdiction. The Congo has fantastic copper projects, but unfortunately they're located in the Congo. Very, very challenging place, very expensive place to work.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rick.
Thank you very much.
Great. I'm Priscilla Barrera with the Investing News Network.